My name is Rebecca Ammon, and today we're going to be going over the English section of the ACT Essentials. Enjoy! So to start off today's lesson, we're going to start talking about commas. And the first rule of commas is that they're used to separate non-essential information from the rest of the sentence. So the first sentence we're going to look at is an example of the correct way to use a comma. So the first sentence says, Angel, comma, who had only been on one real vacation before, comma, had always wanted to go to the beach. And the comma is in between Angel and who, and in between before and had, because the non-essential information about Angel is that she had only been on one real vacation before. Does that make sense? Okay, so the second sentence we're going to look at is the incorrect way to use a comma regarding non-essential information. So the sentence goes, Erin is recognized, comma, as a master chef, comma, because she has managed so many successful restaurants. And the commas don't need to be there because Erin being recognized as a master chef is in fact essential information to the sentence. So we don't need any commas there. Commas can also be used to separate independent clauses that are connected by a coordinating conjunction. And we know that coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So those are the coordinating conjunctions. And the first sentence we're going to look at is an example of the correct way to use a comma. So it says, Michaela's pet frog eats 50 flies a day, comma, and has never gotten indigestion. And the comma is used in between day and because it's separating the two independent clauses, which means that they could stand on their own. So Michaela's pet frog eats 50 flies a day is an independent clause. And it has never gotten indigestion is an independent clause as well. So that's the correct way to use a comma. The incorrect way to use a comma in this sequence would be, Barbara went to the store, comma, and bought 2 quarts of milk. And this is incorrect because bought 2 quarts of milk is not an independent clause, so this comma shouldn't be there. And it should just read, Barbara went to the store and bought 2 quarts of milk. Does that make sense? Okay. The next rule we're going to talk about is apostrophes. And apostrophes are used to show ownership. And the first sentence we're going to look at is the correct way to use an apostrophe when showing ownership. The sentence reads, the twin sisters with apostrophe after the S room had bunk beds. And this is correct because it's showing ownership with an apostrophe and it's after the S because there's more than one sister. So does that make sense? Okay, so the second sentence we're going to look at is the incorrect usage of an apostrophe when showing possession. The sentence reads, the man's apostrophe outside the S house was in need of repair. And this is incorrect because there's only one man and it is his house, so it's showing possession, so the apostrophe should go in between the N and the S. Does that make sense? Now we're going to talk about semicolons. And the first rule when using semicolons is that they're used to separate 2 independent but related clauses that are not joined by a coordinating conjunction, which is for and nor, but, or, yet, and so. So the first sentence that we're going to look at is the correct way to use a semicolon. And the sentence goes, I will not be in school on Friday, semicolon. However, I can make up the test before classes on Monday. We know this is correct because the clause before the semicolon and the clause after the semicolon are independent clauses, which means that they can stand on their own. So that's how we know that this sentence is correct. Now, the second sentence that we're going to look at is the incorrect usage of a semicolon. And this sentence goes, because farm prices have dropped so dramatically, semicolon, the traditional American family farm is in danger of disappearing. And this is incorrect because the first part because farm prices have dropped so dramatically is not an independent clause. So if you switch the semicolon with a comma, that makes the sentence correct, because farm prices have dropped so dramatically is actually an introductory phrase. This concludes the ACT Essential lesson for the day. Have a great day.